Hi there, I'm Martin and I'm speaking from Abridge Village Church. This is a short reflection for this coming Sunday, the 22nd of August. Many of us are used to the sorts of game shows we see on television nowadays. You know the ones where there's a series of trials and tests and challenges, and then we come to the moment of decision. Who will stay? Who will go? You can all imagine the scene, can't you? All the contestants are gathered and they're looking back and forth at each other and to the camera, of course. And they are awaiting the verdict of the judges. And there's usually a long, infuriating silence. You know the sort, don't you? There's the accompaniment of tension-building music. All this before the names are announced. In our reading through John chapter 6, we've got to a similar decision moment. It all follows the miracle with the 5,000 being fed with bread and fish, more than 5,000, and more than enough for all of them, with plenty left over. And the crowds were attracted to Jesus because of that. He was a great miracle worker. But then a series of challenging conversations start about Jesus being the great teacher who promised them teaching that would last and satisfy them. He says he's the bread of life. And then come some more challenging words. He says he's from heaven and not from Nazareth. What's he saying? In other words, he was claiming to be God the Messiah, the special one that they've all been waiting for. That was difficult to take in, as it was, but there was more. There was more. It got worse. As we saw last week, he starts telling them that he has to feed them with himself for them to be truly alive. They have to eat the bread that is Jesus. This last challenge was too much. And so, will they stick with him or will they go? Decision time. Even the disciples begin to waver in their loyalty, according to the story. And Jesus knows this, and he asks them whether they too are going to stay with him. Will they stay as his disciples? See, Jesus isn't just sharing some homespun garden centre wisdom, which we can all agree with and which makes no real demands. No, Jesus is challenging us to a much deeper level of commitment. In fact, he surprises them yet again in this last section by saying that he's not only come down from heaven, but he's also going back up. Or as he says, he will ascend again. What does he mean? That he was going to go up to Jerusalem, which was actually at the top of a big steep climb? Maybe. Or was it he was going to be lifted up in another way, a much more shocking way, be lifted up on a cross to die? Or that he was going up to heaven somehow, sometime? It was challenging talk. It's one thing believing in Jesus as a miracle worker or as a good teacher, but to accept that he is God and that he can come into our lives and take us through death to heaven, that's quite another. It was decision time. Crunch time, as we call it. Who will stay with Jesus and who will go? And it's Peter who speaks up on behalf of the disciples in our story this Sunday. Where can we go? You're the one who speaks words that are true and eternal, words that give us life. You have the words of eternal life, he says. You're the Holy One of God. All this talk about bread over the past weeks has come down to this. Do we believe that Jesus is God or not? Will we put our faith in Jesus or not? Will we let Jesus come into our hearts to change us from the inside out or not? Or will we, like some of the disciples in the story today, turn back from such a commitment? Christians are those who believe that they've taken this step of faith. It's changed their whole outlook on life and how they see the world and other people and themselves. Everything now is God connected because God made everything. And everything they do can be God inspired so that other people are blessed and that the world can be restored to what it was meant to be. It's decision time. It's our decision time about saying yes or no to Jesus.